All right, Kimbo White here. Just want to give my thoughts on the new EA MMA game. Uh, I'm not going to start doing video game reviews on a regular basis or anything like that. Uh, I just wanted to, kind of. I might start doing reviews on games that I paid $60 for because there's just so many of them that are $60 that aren't worth it, and a lot of them that they build up make look like good games with the promos and things, and then they're not worth the money. But this game is worth the money. They came out with a demo of it on Xbox Live. That wasn't a good representation of the game at all. I didn't think at all. I don't know if I could have switched it to the classic control on the demo. I have to go back and look. But you, the game has two ways you can control it. A totally new setup for MMA games, which is the total punch control like Fighting Night. And most of you are familiar with that. Where you use the right joystick to punch, and the buttons to do everything else, which is weird to me because the grappling is just, I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of the button thing, so I switched to Classic, which is very similar, almost identical to the UFC game as far as grappling. It's just a slightly different, um, where you use the right joystick to grapple and the buttons to strike. So, yeah, I'm very pleased with the game. I think it's worth my $60. I've played it quite a bit now. It keeps me up late playing it and get up and play it in the middle of the night and stuff like that. So it's fun. So um, I know there's a lot of people who the game isn't selling as well as they wanted it to, and I know there's a lot of people who just don't know even who Strikeforce really is. Because they don't get Showtime and they don't get HDNet. We don't get HDNet around here, so we don't get to see Dream. We don't get to see Strikeforce. None of that stuff unless you have the internet and you know where to go to follow these guys. There's just a lot of MMA fans that really like to watch more MMA that don't have access to it. And it's pretty sad, but that's the reason why these promotions are not as big as the UFC in the United States because they're not broadcast as mainstream as Strikeforce is on Showtime half the time, and sometimes they have pay-per-views. Um, but the demo didn't do the game any justice, and I didn't want anyone who saw the demo to not want to get the game, or anyone to not want to get the game because they think nobody good's on it. The lineup is unreal. The guys, it's just awesome. Randy Couture, Fedor Emelianenko, Alistair Overeem. You got all the Jason Mayhem Miller, Cum Lee, Scott Smith. You got Bobby Lashley on there. You got both Shamrocks. Just the list goes on and 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 on. Robbie Lawler. It's just I can't even sit here and think of all of them, but there's just um, a, a lot of guys that a lot of people around here don't even know who they are, and they are top notch, some of the world's best fighters, and without a doubt, as good as anyone in the UFC and WEC. Some of these guys, you got Jacare Souza, who is top notch, world class. You just it's really sad to me that a lot of people don't know who these guys are. And I suggest that if you're an MMA fan, go out and buy the new MMA game because it will not only will you really find it to be a fun game and like the game, but it'll educate you on the world of MMA, and I think that's kind of the focus of it. You can fight in Valley Tudo, Unified, Japanese, and then in United States Strike Force promotions, and you can use any of the guys on the game in any of those promotions, and you can pick between a circle cage, a hexagon cage, or a boxing ring. And I tell you what, it's each one has different rules if you're not aware of it. Over in Japan, they are allowed to knee on the ground and kick on the ground, head stomp, soccer kick on the ground. They're not allowed to elbow on the ground. Whereas in the United States, you're allowed to elbow on the ground, but you're not allowed to kick or stomp to the head to a downed opponent. And you're not allowed to knee a downed opponent whose knee is down to the head. But it's the exact opposite in Japan. And then in Valley Tudo, which means anything goes, that is basically what it means. So you can elbow, stomp, or knee to the head on the ground to a downed opponent. And it really makes, plus the Valley in the Japanese version of it, they made it like the old Pride, where the first round's 10 minutes and the next 2 rounds are 5 minutes, which is really neat. And then in the Valley Tudo fights, there's 1 round and it's 20 minutes long. It's just a 20-minute fight. So that's really, really, really fun for something different. So I suggest you go out and get the game. And I want to throw up my one prediction for tonight. I'm gonna take Uriah Faber in his first drop down to 135 against Takeya Mizugaki. Mizugaki is an aggressive striker. Comes out, he throws punches in bunches, but I think that Uriah can move just as well, he's just as fast, much stronger, and he can hit much harder. And I think when he lands a couple on Mizugaki, it's going to be pretty well over with. So it's going to be a great fucking fight. 7:22 right now. Starts at, I believe, 9 o'clock. So everybody, there's a half-hour prelim thing and a half-hour post-show on Versus. So everybody go check that out. And I'll probably jump on here and do a post-fight video because it's going to be a good night of fights. Been the last word with Kimbo White.